Today on Investigate TV Plus, the military justice system under fire for a controversial practice. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. A grieving mother is now seeking answers.
Asia referred to it as the incident.
Her late daughter serving in the military and sexually assaulted, but the fellow soldier who confessed goes free. We're digging deeper into this case.
Plus, an in-depth look at a crisis some call a silent epidemic in America.
My mother was an indigenous woman and she was murdered.
The people fighting to give a voice to missing and murdered Native American women.
And bottoms up without the buzz. From dry January to sober October, what you could gain and lose by going alcohol-free. In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
A months-long investigation uncovered soldiers accused of sexual assault are less likely to be placed in pretrial confinement than those accused of more minor offenses like marijuana possession or disobeying an officer.
Yeah, pretrial confinement is essentially jail where someone accused of a crime waits for their day in court. Investigative reporter Andy Parati worked with our partners at ProPublica and the Texas Tribune to show us its potential devastating impact for victims. We do want to warn you there are some details of sexual assault in this report.
She loved being a soldier.
This is Asia Graham taking the military oath after enlisting in the Army in 2019.
All enemies,
foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
A promise to fend off enemies of the United States, not knowing she would need protection herself from a danger within the military months later.
Asia referred to it as the incident. She couldn't tell me her pain.
The incident Asia couldn't say out loud, a sexual assault by this man, Christian Alvarado, a fellow soldier, both stationed at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. In signed confessions obtained from the Army, Alvarado told investigators he had sex with Asia, and after she passed out, he continued. The 20-year-old also admitted he was wrong for having sex with another woman who had accused him because of how intoxicated she was. Had Alvarado been a civilian, a state prosecutor likely would have charged him with a crime. A judge would then have placed him in pretrial confinement or jail to wait for his day in court if he couldn't afford to post bail. But that's not how it works in the Army. Military commanders determine whether soldiers accused of crimes get pretrial confinement. And according to the Army, Alvarado's commander let him go at the time. A month later, a third woman accused Alvarado of sexual assault.
Why would you grant this guy the privilege of leave, knowing that there are 3 allegations that he's a sexual predator?
Jeffrey Korn is the director of the Center for Military Law and Policy at Texas Tech University. He served as a military prosecutor and a public defender.
From what I know about the case at Fort Bliss, I would have recommended pretrial confinement.
An investigation by our partners at ProPublica and the Texas Tribune uncovered the potential problem. The news organizations analyzed nearly 8,400 courts-martial over the past decade. It found soldiers accused of sexual assault are less than half as likely to be placed in pretrial confinement as those accused of other offenses, like drug use and distribution, disobeying an officer, or burglary. It's happening in Army bases across the country. Back in Fort Bliss, commanders finally put Alvarado in pretrial confinement in March 2021 after 2 more women came forward with sexual assault claims. A military judge found him guilty of sexually assaulting Asia and another woman. He's serving 18 years in a military prison.
This is when she was a baby.
Asia died from an accidental overdose on New Year's Eve 2020. Her mom believes Asia was self-medicating to numb the trauma from her sexual assault. She was 19 years old.
I gave the Army a healthy 19-year-old girl, and I got back a box with a flag on top.
Alvarado's attorney did not respond to requests for an interview. A former Fort Bliss spokesperson told ProPublica and the Texas Tribune that conditions to justify placing Alvarado in pretrial confinement were not initially met, but declined to clarify any further. Army officials defended its pretrial confinement system. They say the nature of a soldier's offense is one factor to consider in a decision to put someone in pretrial confinement, but it is not the sole factor. A soldier's willingness to follow orders also plays a role.
We continue our in-depth look at sexual assaults in the military. A 2023 report released by the Department of Defense revealed that from October of 2021 to September of 2022, there were more than 8,900 reports of sexual assaults involving service members. But because it's a highly underreported crime, the Pentagon will also conduct a confidential survey every 2 years to get a clearer picture of the problem. It won't come out again until 2024. A red hand is a powerful symbol of Native American culture. It's also used to represent the tens of thousands of Indigenous women and girls fighting to have their story heard.
A 2016 study by the National Institute of Justice found nearly 85% of American Indian and Alaska Native women have experienced violence in their lifetimes.
Reporter Heather Graff takes an in-depth look at what's been described as a silent epidemic of violence impacting these mothers, sisters, and daughters.
My mother's name is Deborah Blackcrow. She is Oglala Sioux.
Deanna Blackcrow recalls the moment when she lost her mother.
My mother was an Indigenous woman and she was murdered and lost her life due to domestic violence.
In 1997, her mother was 38 years old and 7 months pregnant when she and her unborn daughter were found murdered in her California home. Deanna's mother is part of what the CDC says is a growing crisis among Indigenous women in America. Murder is listed as the third leading cause of death for Native American women, and the murder rate is 10 times higher than the national average for women living on reservations.
They were murdered on June 28, 2016 at the Navajo County Superior Courthouse, just a few feet away from the court entrance.
On the Navajo Nation in Arizona, Donovan Quintero's sister and niece were killed by the children's grandfather during a custody case. Solomon Diaz is currently serving 50 years in prison after pleading guilty to second-degree murder and assault charges.
I knew I had to fight.
Wiwa Gray is a council representative for the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community in Arizona. She was kidnapped when she was 20 years old, but says she managed to escape her captor 2 years later.
Everybody thought that I was gone on my own accord, so I know how it feels. My family knows how it feels.
She is now a member of the Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Task Force, formed by Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs. The task force will work with state, federal, and tribal agencies to collect data on violence against Indigenous people.
This has been going on for so long, and it's been happening.
In Nevada, Rulon Pete, the executive of the Las Vegas Indian Center, is urging state and federal lawmakers to take action in support of the Native American community after the January 2023 arrest of former Dances with Wolves actor Nathan Chasing Horse. Chasing Horse is accused of running a sex cult that trafficked Indigenous women and children. And Pete says this case highlights the domestic violence and sexual assault that's common in the Native American community and the poor data sharing between tribes and the federal government.
It's unfortunate because it exists in the Indigenous community. Unfortunately, we're not counted in a lot of statistics, so a lot of times there are not very many people that'll speak up.
In 2016, the National Crime Information Center reported more than 5,700 missing Indigenous women, but the public database of the U.S. Department of Justice only reported 116 cases. In fact, that same 2016 report said there is no reliable count of how many Native American women vanish or are killed each year. A team of researchers in Seattle found that Indigenous and Alaskan Native women are often misclassified as Hispanic or Asian or other racial categories.
It's just a lack thereof, especially in the Indigenous community. The protocols, the resources, the support groups, things that should be available.
So, in an effort to raise awareness, Deanna Blackcrow continues to speak out. She formed an organization called Her 38 Roses that works to protect Indigenous women against domestic violence. And Deanna says more needs to be done to get them resources and help.
And you have to have a lot of courage to stand up against your abusers.
The federal government created the Missing and Murdered Cases Unit to solve cases involving American Indians and Alaska Natives. And federal legislation like Savannah's Law and the Not Invisible Act address Indigenous violence, but the advocates we spoke to say there's still a long way to go.
Still to come, to drink or not drink alcohol. The choice goes beyond what you may think.
It's not like just people in recovery or just pregnant women or people that are really just don't want to drink. It's a lot of people that are exploring with, taking a night off.
We explore the potential costs and benefits of saying no to booze.
But first, a woman taking the stigma out of grieving.
After the miscarriage, it just made me feel alive. I was capable of something, and hiking.
Her personal message on surviving and living after loss. Most of us have experienced loss, but not all of us talk about what we've been through. Bethany Harrison wants to change that. She's now sharing the pain of a lost pregnancy.
The World Health Organization says many women who lose a baby in pregnancy can go on to develop mental health issues.
Amanda Harris shares how Bethany hopes to inspire others who may be experiencing similar grief.
From the outside, Bethany Harrison seems unburdened on the trail.
Left foot, right foot, breathe.
But really, she's carrying a heavy weight, one that nearly knocked her off course.
And I miscarried at about 9 weeks. And I remember walking out of the hospital, it was raining, and I just dropped to my knees. I remember feeling just so sad, and everyone walking around me, not realizing that my world had just ended.
Chances are you've passed someone just like Bethany and had no idea. Some 20% of pregnancies end in miscarriage.
So it was devastating.
You found healing in the mountains.
It's always just been kind of a home away from home. It felt so simple here.
Bethany grew up vacationing in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
This is the only place I wanted to go when I lost the baby. After the miscarriage, it just made me feel alive. I was capable of something, and hiking and making it to the end of a trail.
Eventually, Bethany began to grow too.
I had longed for this and prayed for this. All right, let's go back down. There were not one baby, there were 2 babies. And then my next question was, are there more? Can we please make, it's only 2, right?
Oh, you did it too.
On trips back to the Smokies with twins in tow,
go around this circle.
The walks, although sweeter, slowed to match their pace.
Whoa.
Until they stopped altogether.
Never thought for a moment that things were gonna go like they did.
A new pregnancy with life-threatening complications. The baby's placenta was implanted in Bethany's bladder. She wasn't sure whether she'd survive the delivery or bleed to death.
I'd lost a lot of blood. I couldn't talk, so I wrote everyone notes. I have one note where I wrote scared.
Did you ask on any of those notes, how's the baby?
I asked if he was cute, and John told me that yes, that he was very cute.
He made it through more in the first 6 months of his life than some people make it through in their whole life.
After you recovered from the hysterectomy, you came back to the Smokies.
Yeah, and we'll continue to.
Did you hike to the top?
The story that made it tough to put one foot
Well, I'll go if you'll take me.
in front of the other
You gonna take me too?
is now the same story that inspires Bethany to keep walking forward.
They called me the girl that lived. Come on, thanks. Now I hope to make a believer out of them with it, that I really lived and lived well.
There is support available for women who have suffered a pregnancy loss. You can turn to your doctor, a counselor, or your religious or spiritual leader for guidance. There's also resources available on the website for the March of Dimes. That's marchofdimes.org. And coming up next, the choice to go alcohol-free.
More and more people are reconsidering their relationship with alcohol.
From bottle shops to accountability apps, we'll take a closer look at this trend towards sobriety.
Health fads come and go, but in the last several years, it seems trends involving alcohol or a lack of it are gaining traction. A Nielsen survey conducted in 2022 shows over 1 year, sales of non-alcoholic drinks climbed 20% to $395 million. Non-alcoholic drinks are getting an extra shot from sobriety challenges like Dry January, Dry July, or even Sober October.
And we take a look at the health benefits and the cost of a sober-curious lifestyle.
The amount of products that we have has grown by about 1,000% since we've opened.
Corey Atkinson's Bottle Shop in Atlanta is one of just a growing list of shops catering to those who choose not to drink alcohol.
It's not like just people in recovery or just pregnant women or people that are really just don't want to drink. It's a lot of people that are exploring with, taking a night off.
And new stats show the interest in the sober curious movement is overflowing. According to market analysis by the International Wines and Spirits Record, global sales of no-alcohol beer and wine is growing 3 times as fast as traditional alcoholic drinks.
More and more people are reconsidering their relationship with alcohol.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, a social club is encouraging friends to let friends call it quits.
Finding support helps with accountability.
Counterculture Club's founder, Molly Ruger, has been alcohol-free for several years. The Counterculture Club provides support for its members and has started hosting events to introduce people to an alcohol-free lifestyle.
You can cut alcohol out from your life or take a break from it, and you don't have to take on a label to do that. So it's becoming more of an exploratory opportunity.
An opportunity Dr. Jamil Nimi with the St. Louis University School of Medicine says helps to lay the groundwork to a healthier lifestyle.
In the short term, not having alcohol intake can improve your energy levels, and it can improve your mood. Also, it gives people a sense of achievement.
And that's a good thing, since doctors say alcohol can increase your risk of certain cancers, heart disease, interrupt sleep cycles, and increase stress levels. Dr. Nimi also says it's important to seek professional help if you start seeing certain signs.
If you are drinking more than the recommended limit, which would be the 7 or 14 drinks a week, or if you are having more than 5 drinks at a time, or if you are drinking two drinks consistently a day. Also, if you are feeling like you need to wake up and have a drink to get your day going, those are probably signs.
Well, the app is called Step Away.
At the University of Alaska Anchorage, addiction psychology professor Patrick Doolan has developed an app that can help you track alcohol consumption.
It's a standalone intervention app for helping a person manage their drinking.
The Step Away app is available for free on Google Play and the Apple Store. Research assistant Robin Mertz says the app could be a useful tool to develop a clear picture of your own habits.
It can just be something that helps you form healthier behaviors.
All right, up next, it's a retro rewind.
How a couple found an inspiring way to connect the community with a little help from Blockbuster Video. If you're a child of the 80s, you probably recognize this. If you're not sure, then go ask your mom or dad.
For those of you in the know, the VHS tape was pretty rad in its time. I can't believe I just said rad. My kids are probably making so much fun of me listening to this right now. Anyway, it brought the movie theater into our living room and gave us a chance to veg out with friends and family. Io Elise is in Portland, where a couple is using this part of our past to better the future.
Dad, what is this?
Well, it's what they call a VHS tape. Long before streaming services and before DVDs existed, this is how we watched movies or TV shows at home.
I think it's the nostalgia of it, because I grew up in a time where I could visit video stores, and so it became like just something on a Friday night to do with friends, as you know, you all went as an event together, you know, browse the aisles.
And find your movie of the night.
Be Kind Rewind to remind people before they returned the tape to the movie store that they actually rewind the tape so that it was at the beginning when the next person took that tape out and rented it.
Something we really don't worry about anymore. Liz and Brian Middleton started the Depot last September as a way for the community to freely exchange tapes, DVDs, even video games, and you'll find a variety of genres.
So you've got some music here, you got Peter Gabriel and Genesis, some family films with Clifford and Mighty Joe Young, and then some older films down here.
The owners of the Be Kind VHS Depot say it's a great way to share their love of physical media with their community and connect with other tape collectors. But now the question is, how do you find a VCR to play it?
Oftentimes it's garage sales or you know, your local thrift store.
Or you can set up an alert on Craigslist for free VCR.
There you go.
You're not going to believe this, but I actually have a VCR.
You still
that
have
works.
one? It works?
It
Do you
still
actually
works.
put tapes in
And
there?
I put tapes in it, and the tapes are a little grainy, but I just
You
want to have
watch
it
it
around.
just to have it?
Just to have it, yeah.
Okay. I don't even know
So-
where mine are. You can buy one. So I just looked on the internet. It's like $150. You can still find one somewhere.
I wonder if they're brand new or used,
They're probably
refurbished.
used.
Yeah, probably
I don't
used.
know. Not used a lot now.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for us here on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching.
Next time on Investigate TV Plus, too dangerous to drive but still on the road.
Are there people who are buying these vehicles with open federal safety recalls that are dying because of it?
Yes. The legal loophole that keeps some drivers in the dark about serious recalls.